What is up, everybody? Welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Nick Longo. I'm going to be your host for today and tomorrow with our very, very special guest. You can see right there. There it is. What's up?
Yep.
Guys,
What's up, everybody?
say hello to Michael Fugoso. How's it going, dude?
Good. It's Fugoso, but it's all good, Nick.
Dude, I write it down every time.
I know you knew that because we're friends. You know, we had dinner together. No, we had cookies together.
There you go.
And I know you knew that, but it's all good.
What's going on, bud? Welcome.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
man.
Well,
This is your first official Adobe Live. You've done Adobe Max. You've been a guest on Office Hours once or twice over on our channel for a few times.
That was freaking fun.
Yeah, dude. But this is your first Adobe Live, and why is this so special? Why are we here?
Oh, a number of reasons.
Yeah.
A number of reasons. One is I got to work with Adobe Aero. That's the main reason. We got to work on this really, really cool project that I unveiled on Instagram Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And then today I was supposed to reveal all of the AR components. I revealed the artwork then, and today we're going to reveal that. And then we're going to get into the process of that, which spoiler alert. There's a lot of Illustrator, a lot of Photoshop. The arrow part is the most powerful part about it, but I swear I could do that thing in like 5 minutes, but we're going to do a lot of arrow, and I'll show you how we're going to do a lot of arrow.
Good.
But today's going to be mainly prepping everything for arrow. I'm primarily a 2D illustrator, 2D artist, and everything 3D scares me. I don't know if it scares you.
Yeah.
Nick, are you primarily a 2D?
Yeah,
person like me?
we talked about that earlier today. It's kind of like anybody moving into 3D, you want to find the applications and the programs that are going to kind of like welcome you in a little bit. Because I'm 2D 100%.
Yeah, and there's just one small thing you can do in Aero, which is a huge thing that adds so much life to your 2D work. And that's just the surface of it, the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that we're going to dive into tomorrow with Aero as well.
Perfect, man. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys as well, you could check out the first week of Illustrator Daily Creative Challenges happening this week, every weekday at 11:30, right before the stream with Julia Vaca, I believe it is. So tune in each day for that. That challenge is happening. Those are always great ones to accompany anything that you're learning here on the regular streams. But let's get into it a little bit. For those of the folks there that are joining us that maybe don't know you, tell them a little bit about yourself. We're going to show a little bit of Michael's work both on Behance and on Instagram. Little PDF fun presentation I believe you put together as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell them. What do we got? So
this is, this first one here just tells the whole story. Done. And the live session.
Yeah, there it is.
This is my logo right here. And then I did the whole paper effect that I think most people that know me, or most people in the community that know design community, know what I do. This is the type of stuff that I do, is just paper stuff. I released a course on it, and people are super psyched on how I do that. And we're going to do that today too. I'm going to show you the paper stuff, and then we're going to do the AR on top of it. So
it's like a 2-for-1, really, if you think about it.
Maybe a three for.
That's great, dude.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, this is what I do. This is my logo in its most simplest form. That's really just the intro slide there. If I go down here, I just want to show you my work. Here's my process.
Nice.
I go into Illustrator, I make it flat. And then here's the thing. It's, when it's at its simplest form, you have to make it like you got to make the foundation really good.
Sure.
If the foundation's really good, then if you add loads and loads of hours of layers and detail, then that's gotta look good too, right?
Yeah. Well, like it's just like the foundation of anything, right? The blueprints of something. You gotta have good quality before you go in and make this 3D effect and do all the shading and the highlighting, correct?
Yes. And I'm gonna be real. This is a very tedious process. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do not this illustration, but we're gonna do a illustration, and you'll see. It's a really awesome, cool, tedious process. You know? Okay.
what a way to sell it.
Yes. I mean, it's well worth it because it provides your clients the wow factor, and and the wow factor takes you about 80% the way there, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's the awesome part about this style. Make sure they approve this though. Make sure your client approves this part before you do all this stuff over here, because that'll be a huge pain later.
I see a few little questions coming in, and I think we're going to get to a lot of those in the first few moments of going through there, especially like how long does a project like this take? We'll dive into that once we get in there, but keep going with this intro because I think this is really important to see.
Okay, well, really fast. If I'm working fast and I'm like on it, I could do this in a day.
Nice.
If I want to like enjoy my life, I'll do it in a week.
It all depends on the deadline in so many different ways, right? I mean, particularly if you're doing it for yourself, or you're doing this with doing it with Adobe or whatever, there are these deadlines, and again, it's how much you hunker down and do it, right?
Yes, right. Man, Nick, I swear you know everything. Like
we've done this before.
Yes.
This one's one of my favorites, man. I love this. This is so cool.
So this is like one of the first styles that I got, I guess a little bit known for in this space is this crazy vector style, where, I mean, this is all done in 100% in Adobe Illustrator. I don't do this anymore, just because it takes a really long time. And I don't know, I got really wrapped into the paper stuff, and you know what I mean? I became better and better as a designer. And then sometimes the minimal stuff is what people love. And, but I mean, if people still love this, they ask me to do this, super vector skeuomorphic stuff all the time, and maybe one of these days, maybe one of these days.
But you showed a lot of this live with a few times when you even came into my class and showed my students this, and there's something so neat about using Illustrator in this way where I think most people find it a little intimidating, but you found these really cool ways to show how gradients, highlights, and all these things can be handled pretty quickly and with a lot of control.
Yes. And here's the thing, like, to execute this, you only need to know about like 5 functions or so. And you just do that over and over and over again. I'm like, okay, I guess that's the theme. I'm a tedious illustrator. I like to do things over and over and over until, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is we could talk about this some other time.
Perfect.
Going, and I did it as a DeLorean. I think that's the most popular illustration I did in that style. So I'll try to move it a little bit quicker. Do these. This is one of my favorite illustrations I did ever. I didn't do this for a client or anything. This is like me. It's a representation of me because I feel like I'm never finished. So
there you go. Okay.
Yeah, and that's this is my friend that's repairing me because my friends repair me and stuff, and my family repairs me. Okay, all right,
Wonderful.
Let's go down. Here's the process of that paper style. So it starts off like this with a ton of triangles. And like not all of them do, but like this particular one, I made it 100% with triangles, and then I brought it into Illustrator, put all the color effects, and then finally in Photoshop I add the texture. And this particular one had a wood texture too.
Great. Neat, dude. It's so cool to see the progression of that,
And I wanted to show you all this. I just wanted to show you that all my sketches I'm not that great of a drawer. So it's, I just wanted to let everybody know that you don't have to be a good drawer to be a great illustrator. I'm not saying I'm a great illustrator, but you don't have to be an amazing drawer.
Do you just find this is your way of like at least just getting the idea out and on paper, so then once you go to the vector and you start building this thing, at least you have some blueprint to mess with, right?
Yes, and you'll see in the tutorial that we go through, I really just sketch to a point where, okay, I know how to execute these shapes in Illustrator, because I rely heavily on shape building tools, Bezier pen tools, and Illustrator. That's why I add Illustrator to my process. Like everyone asks me, like, why don't you just do everything in Photoshop if that's where all the lighting goes? Yeah. Like, you know how much easier it is to make shapes and stuff, and in Illustrator, it's like, you can do it so much faster, and it's and that's what it's made for. That's what it's made for. Okay, cool. And that's what that sketch turned to. So
there you go.
Sketch, and then boom. Okay. I don't know why I put that in there. Oh, okay.
I remember the story on that, but keep going. You're good.
Okay. This is the first thing that Adobe featured.
That's right.
This is the first thing that's why I put it in there, because it's like makes me happy.
Yeah.
And thanks Adobe for liking my work. Okay. These are the clients I've worked with in this paper style. Like most of them ask for that stuff. So there is a need for cool illustrations like that.
Yeah.
35 years young. I'm actually 38 now. You know, okay, spoiler alerts. I made this 3 years ago.
A few years ago. Yep.
But hey, 35 years young. I started design at age 30. So, you know what I mean?
Always a great story to tell, because I think a lot of people feel like you come off as someone that's been doing this since, like, 8, and you had a computer and you were putting these images, layers together. And it's just so great to see that we can all start these things at any time, right?
Yes. Well,
as long as you have passion.
I did have a history of drawing Ninja Turtles and Dragon Ball Z characters. Okay.
Well, did I think everyone on Behance, right? Like you name the creator, you did something like that.
All of you that love anime, just say there, yeah, you could definitely make a massive career out of that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
More work. How much work did I put in here? There's a different style. This is something I did for NASA Purdue University. This is one of the biggest illustrations I've done on the Apollo 11. I worked with Blue Origin, and this is one of the badges that they have on their merchandise.
Great.
SpaceX, boom, Ariana Space. I work with a lot of space companies.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing there is, if you like space, or if you like cars, or I don't know, if you like something, just make a lot of that and figure out how does that apply to the industry.
Yeah.
And how can the industry or these companies get value from what you're making?
It's this great bridge of like something you're totally passionate about, put that into the work you're doing, right? And there's almost this perfect way of like finding the right gigs and the right companies to work for, because you're in that zone.
Yes.
Love it.
Nick,
Yo.
I mean, like, I don't even have to explain anything. I just say one thing. Okay, all right, let's keep going.
Keep going, bro.
So I put this here.
And the chat needs to know, what is the red drink?
Dang.
You could lie.
Okay, no. The red drink, it's just a bunch of caffeine.
Oh, okay.
It's just pre-workout drink that a lot of young people. Yeah.
Those are deadly.
It tastes like raspberries. It's good.
All natural flavoring, right?
Yes. Sometimes I just need a bigger boost than coffee, and I had a long morning, as you all know. I had a pretty crazy morning. So
there you go. Yeah. All right, Keep going, bro. Keep going.
All right. Okay. I put this here because this is how I illustrated before. You know what I mean? So
yeah, someone just asked about kind of like before all this, what were you into in drawing, like this kind of stuff, right?
I drew characters and stuff, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people ask me, like, oh, how did you find your style? And the way you find your style is you just make a bunch of stuff, and you eventually land on something based off of the feedback you get and based off the things that you like. You don't just like plan it in your head, like I'm gonna make everything in paper style. And then and then now I'm a paper artist. No, it's never worked that way for anyone, I think. And it has not worked that way for me.
Yeah.
So I made a bunch of stuff. I stumbled upon the paper style. I stumbled upon the vector skeuomorphic stuff. And
perfect, man.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell everybody. Like, don't focus on the style. Just keep making cool stuff that makes you happy. And
great. Chat's loving this. As each one's getting a better and better comment as we go through here. So
really, well, now it's downhill from here. I'm just joking.
Yeah. not a chance, man. Keep going.
Well, I just want to say this is something cool that you can make with 2 colors, black and white, and one profile of a line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's something I don't typically do, but it's like, okay, you could totally do that. And I don't even know if there's crystals underwater. You know what I mean?
But who needs to know?
Okay.
This one's my favorite, dude. I love this.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it because you're one of them? You're one of them. That's why.
Yeah, totally. But no, I'm a fan of that view. Like it's like that, almost like it looks like what is this? 1 point perspective, or I can't remember the term for this one, because it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where I just love.
View.
There you go. Yeah.
Three-quarter view.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the right term either.
Chat, help us out. We just know what we like,
Yes. It's like a square, and then you just drag it, and it's another square, and the other square is a shadow.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Okay. Let's keep moving. Oh, this is where I'm supposed to open my Instagram, but did I have other stuff after that? Oh, yeah. Thank you, everybody. All right, let's open the Instagram up.
Go for
because
it, man.
that's where I can show you some Aero stuff.
Yeah. So now we're getting into a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, what we're going to be doing.
If you all check my Instagram out, that's where I update things most frequently. This is my portfolio. This is what all my clients see. They're like, "Hey, can I see your portfolio?" I'm like, "Boom, check out my Instagram account."
Yes. Isometric. That's what it was. Thanks for Voodoo Val. She mentioned the view. We were trying to remember what that view was.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank
you so much. Thanks.
She paid attention in perspective class. I did not.
So, okay, like this is pretty much what we're going to be doing. Like I can click on this one here and you can see.
There you go.
You know, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make an illustration actually pretty similar to this. We're going to stack it, you know, on top of each other. We're not going to get through it all today. We're definitely going to do some of it tomorrow.
This is definitely the two-parter, and definitely we need two parts for this because there's a lot of work to get to that zone, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right.
So, you know, you pretty much make this illustration, stack it on top of each other, and then you do this one simple thing in Aero, and it brings it to life like this.
Yes.
You know, it's like it's a whole thing that I don't know, it just breathes new life to your work. And this is something I did for Adobe Max. This is the presentation I did for Adobe Max with a much more simple illustration. So it works in all kinds of different styles.
Yeah.
I'm so psyched that that Aero reached out to me after all this stuff. It's just because it's like, yeah, I really love working in this space.
Well, let's be honest. I think this brings a whole other level that you're not even considering maybe for your work that you've created. You could have created an incredible illustration or whatever. But what Michael's going to show you today and tomorrow is how you can maybe even take that, right? We're splitting in layers. We're getting this. It makes sense when you see it being built. But the beauty of Aero is it allows you to turn it into this three-dimensional piece and show it off digitally and graphically just like that.
Oh, look,
did I nail it?
You always do. You always do. And you know what? It's because I make stuff like this, right? Like once I saw a sample of this in augmented reality, I was like, I could totally turn this, you know, like my stuff looks layered. Like I could totally put that into AR. And then Aero is a perfect app for it. It keeps everything in 60 frames a second, which is awesome. Don't quote me on another. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I put it on a 60 frame per second timeline, it looks really smooth. So it's one of the most stable ones where you can do this trick with. It's really cool. I did it again here. Nice. And that's the one I showed you right before. Yep. And then there it is in Aero form. And this is not all you can do in Aero. Like tomorrow, I'm also going to be showing you stuff that I worked with another designer with, just because sometimes I'm a little technically challenged. you know, with I worked with another designer, Austin 4, who animated the piece and brought it to life that way, and then brought it to life another way in Aero, putting all kinds of interactive pieces into it, which we will go over that tomorrow. Today is all about this layered effect.
Well, let's get into it, dude. Enough talk. Let's go for some action.
Okay, can I just talk about one last thing?
Do it.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I'm sorry.
You gotta show this. You gotta show this. You gotta show this.
This is what I worked on with the Adobe Aero team. And so they gave me the freedom to work in my style, to work in the theme that I like. Guess what theme I like, everybody? Space. So I made the Apollo 11 tribute. This is what I made for Aero. You know.
And this is all on your Behance page. So I'm sure it's been linked there already. And you can check out this entire project and how it works. And it's this is really, to me too, one of my favorite little case studies. And the way you can build something like this on Behance is so cool, dude. This came out really nice.
Thank you. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, you're good. So basically, Voodoo Val just added you to her list of dream artists she wants to collab with. So see,
I'm a dream artist. Are
you are
kidding me? Okay.
Yes, and Andrea says that she saw your Adobe Max talk and loved it. It was very inspiring. So see, got a good group here.
Oh my gosh, dude! Thanks everybody. I wish this was in person. You know?
Yeah, just for that, let's get everybody say hello in chat. tell us where you're from too, so we can see where everybody's tuning in. And hopefully we see. I'm seeing tons of familiar faces, so let's see who else is here. But all right, man. So where are we starting?
Well, this is what we're gonna do.
Cool. Do it.
So this is what the project turned to. This is what we're gonna focus on today. Hopefully we can get to the AR stuff. If we only do the Illustrator and Photoshop stuff, cool. You can have it come out of a physical trading card like this. This is the project that we worked on. And you can have it come out of a poster.
Nice, dude. That's great.
You know what I mean? Cool. And hey, we made a stamp too. I'm gonna reveal the stamp tomorrow. That's the reveal with the all the cool
great
interactive stuff. Okay, I'm sorry.
Get into it, man.
You want me to get into it now? Okay.
Let's do it. We need to see some program in action. We got everybody coming in from Florida, Baltimore, Walnut Creek, California. I know that area. San Francisco, DC, Phoenix, Brooklyn, London, Bangladesh, Copenhagen, Germany. Dude, how cool is that?
Whoa.
I knew that kind of blow your mind there a little bit. Isn't that great?
Where are you coming from, Nick? I'm from Austin, Texas.
That's right. We didn't even say I'm in Los Angeles. Michael's in Austin. Yep.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Take it away, bro.
I want to be honest, everybody. Like I might be a little rusty with the Illustrator, but we'll do it. I mean, I'll do it in the way that I do it. If you all have faster ways of doing it, you'll definitely, you can let me know in the chat.
No, I think it's like we said, you and I were talking the other day. It's always great to see just anyone else's interpretation, particularly what steps you take in Illustrator, in Photoshop to get to a desired thing. Because I think the neat thing about, I know for sure Illustrator, there's like 9 different ways to do the same thing, right?
Yes.
And I love, that's one thing I love about watching other designers work on Behance and on the live streams, because it's, again, sometimes someone might have it in a shorter way or a simpler way. And I'm like going through 9 steps when it can only be 3,
You're right.
All right.
Well, okay, things might slow down a bit here, but we're going to go through it. I don't know everybody's levels. I'm going to move as slow as I think, and then we can adjust from there.
There you go.
Okay, so it starts off as a sketch, right? And like I said, my sketches are never that great. I just make it to a point where I know what to do. Obviously, I can't make the thing that we did for Aero. I can't make that whole illustration for you here. It's going to take a week.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're taking some liberties here just to show the entire process within 2 days.
Yeah, and even this, we might not even get through. We'll see. We'll see how fast we get through all this through Photoshop, and then if I feel like we're moving too slow, then I'll execute the rest of it or something, and then we'll dive into a lot of Aero stuff tomorrow for sure. That's the main thing. I really want to show you the Aero stuff. Okay, so notice my layers panel. This is one of the most important panels to me right here. I have my sketch layer. I have my colors layer. I'm gonna lock my sketch layer there. I have my colors here just because I know what colors are gonna be, and we can move faster there. So let's start off with a rocket. Okay, I'm gonna create a point there. And then I'm gonna use the pen tool and drag here, somewhat similar to my drawing. And then Nick, feel free to,
I would chime in. Yeah, just to give, if you've just tuned in and you're joining us right now, Michael is going to take us through this really cool journey of building this work in Illustrator, all vectored, bringing it into Photoshop, making some layers and some cool stuff. But eventually, we're going to be leading into Adobe Aero and showing you how, even if you don't work in 3D, it is the simplest, most like welcoming area to come in and start learning a little bit of 3D, right?
Yes.
Love it.
Dude, again, you're just nailing it all the time. It's like I love you and I hate you for it. You know what I mean? Like, I just... Okay, all right.
I need that as a t-shirt. That's a good one. Keep going.
All right, if I option, hold shift and drag this, I constrain it to the same, horizontal plane.
Yep.
Right click, transform, reflect.
There you go.
There you go. And then we move those two together. I'm gonna get my direct selection tool here.
Yep.
Drag above these 2 points up there. Command Option Shift J. What that did is that joined those 2 points as one. As you see, if I click that.
See, there's your little shortcut. There.
Whoa, yeah,
nice.
Okay.
So Command Shift J will remove, because if you just do Command J, you're going to get 2 points in the same spot, basically.
Yes.
That eliminates the redundant one.
Command Option Shift J. Okay.
Does that.
Yeah, it puts it into 1 point.
Perfect.
And it cleans everything up. I don't know exactly what it does. I just know it works.
There you go. Well, I've already learned something new, because I do the Command J and then I go in there and minus a point.
Okay.
So you got it. See, I'm already learning. I've already got a shortcut.
Okay. Oh, awesome. All right, let's keep going.
Michael won.
No, dude, trust me. I'll take all of them I can get. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so keep building. Yeah. And if any questions, guys, please join in. If you're checking us out at YouTube, come over here on Behance. This is the place to be. We got you all here in chat. So yeah, ask away, but keep going, bro.
So I can Command Option Shift J here, right? But that will leave a point there. Sometimes you just want to be clean, right? I'm going to delete those 2 points. I'm going to get my pen tool and I'm going to connect that there. Now I don't even have a point in there. It's clean. If I want to make adjustments, it's so much easier to grab this point and, move that around. If I had that point there, it will cause a little bit more.
Yes.
A little bit more, but a little bit more what? I don't know.
Also, too, but like when you're going back to finesse it like you're doing right now, if you had that extra point, it's like, it's just another anchor you don't need,
Yes.
Yep.
Gosh, Nick. Okay.
Got a question. Got a question as you continue to design.
Okay.
Michael, do you have any pro tips to keep in mind for beginners when starting a new project? You could write a book on that.
Starting on a new project, I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier about the foundation.
Planning.
If the foundation, the planning is really good, you won't run into a lot of problems down the road.
Yeah.
And how do you do that when you're a beginner is you keep it simple. You start simple.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yes. So I noticed, I have a course out there online. A lot of the feedback, they're saying that like, oh, this is really cool, but it gets really complex. It's like, well, maybe start with a much more simple illustration. Don't put a bazillion shapes yet. I know you can do it. Not saying that you can't do it, but if you can master it in a simple way, like I said, it'll always look better the more complex way. So that's my pro tip is to keep it simple.
It makes a lot of sense. Like if you're gonna bite off a little bit more than you can chew, it's like you could get discouraged. So like I know. Just consider where you're at as far as beginner, intermediate, advanced, and go from there.
And it's a constant issue. I have this issue still today. Sometimes I shoot overboard.
Yeah.
And it's just something that we constantly deal with.
Yes. And to one of the questions, yes, all of these live streams will live on Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel till the end of time. So if you are watching today live, great. If not, you're probably watching us streamed and recorded on YouTube.
Yes. Okay. I stopped because I want to show what I do here. Mm-hmm. I could just, make this really quick by clicking like this.
Yes.
I do want to curve that there at the end though. So that's not quick there, but it looks like that. It looks nothing like my sketch, right? Mm-hmm. But if I grab this point, you click on this here, this node that pops out, use that to just curve that down.
Best invention. If Mr. Adobe is listening or Mrs. Adobe, best invention ever.
Wait, right. When I learned Illustrator, I think it was CS 5 or 6 or something. And it didn't have the node feature yet. When they put the node thing in there, I'm like, oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Okay. So if I click that here, option, drag to keep it in the same.
Yep. With the shift down, right?
Yep. Right click, transform, reflect. Boom. Oh. Okay. All right. So what I would typically do here is I would keep this as separate shapes from the rocket body. Yes. Because it adds more detail to the ship. But for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to consolidate to one shape so it's one less thing we have to do when we texture it.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we can get through this. We can get through this thing.
Or sometimes too, like wait till the very end to unite or put these together. Because like, let's say you look at this from far away and you're like, oh, they need to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Keeping them independent is best.
Point Nick.
Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
So we're tied.
You're keeping track
I am.
of the points?
I am.
Okay. Well,
all right. That's gonna be our little fun thing here. We had something else in mind. We might be doing it tomorrow, but for now we're keeping track. So we're tied now on with pro tips on Illustrator.
Gosh.
If you guys and if there's any other ones that we can answer, feel free to put it in chat. All right. There we go.
Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Yeah, build away, man.
So I won't combine them yet, right?
Great.
Just my brain is just telling me to make this skinnier here, so I made it skinnier. Let's do these rocket windows. If I take my ellipse tool, I can make a circle. If I hold Option and Shift, it constrains it to a perfect circle, and it sizes it from the center, which is that's a big deal. Because if I don't size it from the center, see how it sizes it from the corner like that? Yeah. That's cool sometimes. If I size it from the center, boom, it keeps it in the center with that one, and then we could just do it again here.
There you go.
Actually, I want to move that.
Do you typically dive right into your project with sketches, or do you go right into building some kind of a design guide of sorts? Or what's the first step? Is it always a sketch just to get the idea out?
Typically, it's always a sketch, but since I've done so many of these, like if I know how to knock out something very fast, I'll just go straight into Illustrator and start making a bunch of shapes. Do I have a grid system? Not really. I stick to a few basic design principles like symmetrical things and asymmetrical things and the rules of thirds and stuff. This is kind of in the rules of thirds, asymmetrical. Yep. Does that answer the question? Am I answering any question?
Yeah, that's a great one. Because I think you're right. I think a lot of times too, if it's tried and true and it's working, particularly for, let's say it's working for that client already, keep those guides alive, right? Like what you were just saying. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Yes. Yeah, and like you never have to do the same. Like I said, you don't have to start with a sketch all the time. If you know how to bypass things, then by all means, just do it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much my rocket. I'm gonna call this rocket. Oh wait, no, let's put that in another layer.
Oh, look at you. You were in the colors layer and you didn't even know it.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we got to do something about that because this style is all about layers. I'm gonna name this rocket. And then I'm gonna take all this from the colors panel, Command X, and then go to the rocket layer, Command Shift V to paste it in the same spot. Okay.
Why is it so important to do layers, particularly based on your objects and the way they're grouped?
That's a very good question. Because we're going to be bringing this into Photoshop.
There you go.
And then in Photoshop, you got to do this treatment to every single layer there is there. The texturing treatment. That's what makes this style special, is that you can light, shadow, and texture every layer individually. Yes. A lot of people, they go straight to they finish the illustration, do the whole flat thing and put a texture on it. There's, it's not going to look nearly as good.
Yeah, Ruth called that out, that you can copy your layers from Illustrator directly into Photoshop now. And then
spoiler alert.
There Ruth? It is. Yeah. Oh. That's why I asked you that question. See, they already know. Really good. So Ruth, you have scored 1 point.
Okay. Yeah.
Ruth is in the competition now.
What do they get if they win? Oh, no, I don't know if I can fulfill. But okay. Well, we'll see.
We'll make a virtual award medal. That's what we'll do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll think of something. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So what I noticed is the sun in the background, right? There's a circle right here. What would make it really cool in the composition if it was pretty much in line with this same circle, which is the center point, or the center point of this window is the same center point of that sun. That would make it look really cool. So if I push Command C on this window here, and I create a layer below that, I'll call this Sun 1. I'll call it Sun 1. And you'll see why in a second. Push Command Shift V. And if I increase that there, look at that. See how it's like, composition wise, it's going to look really cool that this is in line with that sun circle in the back. Stuff like that is really cool. you know?
And I think that's just instant. Like it almost it's easier to build that way, but then also it's technically right. Like why should that be off center of the middle circle window in the rocket, right?
Yes.
It's just
Right.
aesthetics. There you go.
Oh, yes. If it was just a little bit off, you would just be like, why is this off?
Yeah.
You won't know why. And then, well, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
All right. Command C, Command Shift V. Looks like I did nothing, but nope, I pasted it in place. That's another circle.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. We're gonna have to do some repositioning later, but it's all good. Command X, because we're gonna move that to a different layer, because that's another layer that's gonna be textured. We're gonna call this Sun. Sujin.
Sujin. Sujin 2.
Sun 2. Oh, where'd it go?
You cut it.
Oh my gosh. Point Nick right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Command Shift V. So
Boom.
that's in that layer there. That's in that layer there. The rocket's in that layer. Cool.
Great. And right now you're not even worried about arrangement or what's positioned above right now. You're just building, right?
Yes. Well, I guess kind of, because I know that the rocket's going to be on top of the sun.
Correct.
And I know this sun's going to be on top of that one. So that's probably as far as I'm thinking as far as
Great.
arrangement goes.
Great. All right, perfect.
But I am going to end up like moving stuff later. Like, for example, this is not aligned with that circle, obviously, because I can't draw a perfect circle, right? So I guess your execution doesn't have to be perfect to your sketch. You know, it could,
Yeah.
you know, your sketch is just there to be a guideline to show you how you're going to execute later. Eventually, I'm going to be moving some of this stuff around. Okay. Let's do probably the most complex part of this, which is this booster thing here.
Oh, let's see it. Go for it.
It's still a really easy thing. Let's call this booster. I'm getting used to naming my layers. How are we with time, by the way? Do I
We're
have
doing
like...
good.
Okay.
We're about 37 in. See how, look at that. See, you're like, oh, in 30 minutes, I'll have the entire thing completely vectorized, right?
No, I'm actually, yeah. I'm hoping we can get to at least a big chunk of the Photoshop stuff.
Good.
Which,
even if it's just elements, you know, like I think just to show the technique, right?
yeah.
Perfect.
Right now, I'm using the pen tool. For organic looking shapes, you know, the pen tool, there's almost nothing.
Yeah.
That's a lie. You can use a pencil tool. That's pretty organic looking. That's pretty cool too if you have a pencil.
But there's something about the way when the pen tool's math is almost doing all the work for you, you know?
Right. It's the precision.
Exactly.
Precision. If you want a handmade look, pencil tool.
Yeah. And do you primarily build the image like this that you're doing on an axis and then just duplicate and reflect? That's just the simplest way to have complete, like it's the same exact model.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know Illustrator, especially Illustrator on iPad, has mirror modes where you draw it, it automatically populates on the other side. Mm-hmm. That's the whole world that I don't know yet that I should probably play with more.
Gotcha.
But for now, I'm doing the drag and duplicate, and this only works with symmetrical looking shapes, right?
Yeah, correct.
You know, so
which is most of everything you have there, except for maybe the clouds that get a little bit random, you know?
Yeah, and we have a quick way of doing clouds too.
Good. Oh, you know? I can't wait.
Yeah.
See, that's another one I watch when people create things like as common as clouds, and you can see people try some different things. It's really neat to see how everybody does it, you know?
Right. I agree 100%.
Perfect.
With everything you say.
That's looking nice and clean, looking really good.
I'm doing the same exact thing, everybody, just deleting the points. And a lot of, like, when people look at my work, they're like, whoa, how do you do all that stuff? It's like, well, it's a bunch of the same stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know? Cool. I mean, that looks pretty cool.
It's getting there. Okay. You got it.
I'll show you another really useful tool here that I think is kind of overlooked a lot. It's Object, Path, Offset, Path.
Yes. Best tool ever.
Oh, wait a minute. Where did I can't find my window, the offset window.
Let's see. I think it just went away. Did you have it for a second?
Let me try it again. If not, then it's hidden somewhere.
Yep. There's that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, that's one. Okay. So I went Object, Path, Offset, Path. Oh,
there it is.
You're right. So what Offset Path does, It either creates the same exact contours around your shape. I have really hard, sharp turns here. So sometimes it doesn't calculate the sharp turns, which is okay. You can either do it around it or you can do it inside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it inside.
There you go. So a little negative
number. And then I'm trial and error. I'm not the best
I always do like 0.01 just to see what happens. Like, there you go.
Yes. So that kind of did it right there. And then I'm going to push. Okay. So now I don't have to like redraw that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's a uniform, smaller, like you could scale that, but it wouldn't be exactly what you just did. You've actually, the offset path is that perfect way to make like an inner or an outer outline of what you've got drawn.
Yes. And that said, because of this weird curve here, it does this part registered as best as it could. I'm gonna try to change this a bit. I'm gonna add a point there. This is another cool editing trick. And then if I get my direct selection tool, select that and delete that. Okay, get my pen tool, click that, and then we could do a cool little curve.
There you go.
Like that.
Cool. So sometimes it does need that little finesse, particularly like
sometimes
it's such a custom shape.
Yeah. It's also because this is a very small shape too. Sometimes it needs that. Sometimes it does. Most of the times it doesn't. Most of the times it's a champion of a tool.
It's great for outlining when you're doing text and you want to have like multiple outlines or, drop shadows with all different kinds of kind of like offset paths with them.
Yes.
Oh man, it's a game changer. Those are those tools that like you show someone that hasn't seen it before and they're like, how did I live without offset path?
Right.
It's wonderful.
Okay. I mean, look at the cool thing about offset path is it leaves this perfect, like, see, like this perfect from like the space from here to here. It's the same all around your entire shape. So that's
totally
what's
uniform.
Awesome about offset path. Okay. I can fix this more, but no, I'm not, we're done.
Yeah. we know what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Perfect. Let's add another, I don't know, let's call this booster. Let's call this booster 3. You know why? Because we need to make a booster 2.
I was going to say, there can't be a booster 3 without a booster 2. Or a booster 1.
Right. Or, okay, so I'm going to move that over to booster 2. And just so you know, like for the paper thing, like this is the first shape, right? This is the second one, and booster 3 is what we're going to do next, which is all I need to do is make a little rectangle.
Nice. That's just going to be that nice stream below it. Nice.
Yes. If you study a lot of rockets, you know what? Let's call that booster 1 just because you called me out on that earlier, Nick.
You know what's going to happen? Someone's going to get this file and be like, Mike, we're missing booster 1.
Yes. Booster doesn't cut it. Okay. It's booster 1. Yeah. So that stream, it's every rocket does that when it launches. Actually, if you want to get into the space industry and you want to really impress these rocket engineers, a lot of them have a very unique plume. This is called a plume. And if you can recreate that plume, and that'll really impress them. So it's up there.
Yeah. I think too, just knowing the topic or the subject matter to the point where the person that might be making a decision on hiring you or not will appreciate that. Like those are those little things.
Oh my man. Nick.
Did I score another point on that one?
You scored like 5 points. I just didn't tell you.
I'm in the lead.
I didn't tell you how many the other times.
Yeah.
I'm cheating a little bit. Okay.
Just to let anybody know, if anybody's just joined us, including you, Diego, I see you there, man. One of my students just joined in. We are here with Mike, and Michael's going to be putting together this really cool kind of combination, Illustrator, Photoshop, and then eventually into Adobe Aero. And we're going to have some fun in showing you that 3D is something to totally get into and figure out. We're going to take you through each step and show you how that's done. Right?
Heck yeah.
Good. All right. Where are we at next?
All right. Let's do the next complex shape. Most complex shape. Let's do this. I don't know what you call it. A smoke. Let's call it smoke.
Okay.
We're gonna do this first one right here. So there's a really quick and easy trick here. If I get an ellipse tool, you know, and I make a perfect circle there, size that down. I can option drag that, size that down.
All right, we make clouds the same way.
Yeah.
I feel so much better now. I'm like, man, I hope Michael does it the same way, and he doesn't have some. Like he found the cloud filter.
Clouds are one of the hardest things to represent. You could do it this way, and it's really cool for this paper style. But if you have another style where it's more towards realism, like it gets clouds get really. Oh yeah,
really intense. There's a reason we've made them this generic in illustration, right? It's so much easier.
Yeah, can someone show me how to do like trees? I mean, I get you could kind of do this with trees too, but I don't know. So I can never get trees to look.
Yeah, that's
the way they could.
Yeah. But I liked some of the ones you showed in that one that you made that was all the triangular ones. Like just having a style, like you said, you wanted to base everything in there from a triangular shape that instantly read as trees, but it fit the vibe of what you were going for. So yes. I'll take that method in a heartbeat.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, there's just certain illustrations I do. I'm like, man, like why do these trees look pretty funky? All right, I'm just filling in space right now.
Good. Okay. So you're building the body first, or I'm sorry, all the outline and filling it in with some space. Are you gonna do some Pathfinder here, or what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna do some Pathfinder.
So
I'm gonna lock all this other stuff. Dang, Nick, is that another point for you?
Yeah, that's too easy.
So if I locked all the other layers, so I don't mess with anything else. Right.
Great.
So if I select all of that right there, I go to my Pathfinder panel, Unite Shapes.
And boom, there it is.
There you go. There's a smokestack.
Great.
It looks kind of weird there. I mean, you don't have to do this, but if you want to clean things up a bit, because, you know, we're all super extra like that. So we can select those two right there, minus front, and then boom, you get a nice clean edge there.
And as long as it's going past, like bleeding the space that you want this to, you're good to go. Like that's all that matters, is that it's filling the space that your illustration demands of it.
Yeah. And that's another thing we're going to talk about later is see this frame right here?
Yes.
This frame is there intentionally, especially for something like AR.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Because the frame will cover a lot of these weird looking ends.
Based on the movement in Aero, that frame, you want that overlap. You want the clouds to go far beyond that, just because of the change of perspective, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You want it to be within this thing. You'll still be able to see it if you turn it a little too much.
Okay.
Or you can actually make this frame a 3D frame to hide everything. But like, yeah, that's why that's there, and we'll get to that too.
Great.
A little bit more later.
Perfect. Just wanted to mention too, I know a lot of you maybe just came in here from YouTube. If you're watching us on Behance, welcome. Great to see you guys. Please say hi in chat. And yes, this will live on the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel after this, but join us live. This is the place to be. Ask some questions. Whatever you got for Michael, we'll ask away. But like we mentioned, we're building a really cool Illustrator version first of his sketch. You can go on Michael's Behance page and see the end result as we're building this and what's being created, because what we're going to do is kind of finalize this through Photoshop today, and then hopefully get into Aero tomorrow and show you the 3D capabilities of what we've got.
Oh, we're definitely getting into Aero tomorrow.
You still got about an hour, bro. Just let you know on timing.
Okay. You know what? I would appreciate a personal question. Someone asked me a personal question.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Any questions? What do we got? I know a lot of people, I think, ask how did you get into this field in general? Like, that's always a great question to ask,
Okay. That's a good one.
I'll wait for a better one though, because that we'll keep that one as a backup just in case. But ask away, folks. We'd love for it to come from you guys.
No, okay. How did I get into this stuff? I tried to do things a normal. I don't even know what a normal is anymore, but like what I mean is like I try to, I was an engineering major before. That's the things that people tell you to do, right? Or
Yep.
to be an engineer or doctor. I majored in business. That's another kind of normal thing. And then my career was in banking. So I worked at a bank, and then I work in real estate.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I was like, why am I never good at what I do?
Were you just like doing all that at the same time in a way, or like not? Like, was it just a matter of not focusing on one?
No,
Or were they not what you were passionate about?
I think it's more, I just wasn't passionate about it. Like, it's all kind of the same stuff, like real estate and banking. It's like, okay, it's the same terms and everything. I don't know. It's just like, I was just wondering, like, people are excelling at this stuff and they're making good money, but for some reason I was staying stagnant. And one of the reasons is because I hated it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I was losing hair and all that stuff, and like, my forehead was getting bigger. I always tell that story, like my forehead was really getting bigger at the time. And it's like you talk to people about their money, it's the worst.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's one thing to talk about your own, but like to have to talk about others all day long.
Yes, even if they're making money, it's still a bad conversation.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. Like it's anyway. Okay, that's why. And then
Gotcha.
And then my girlfriend dumped me.
So you were like, I'm gonna be an artist.
I was somewhat engaged to her. So like one of my friends called me. She was like, "You were never engaged. You never bought her a ring." Well, I went
mentally.
Over. Mentally, I was. I got father's permission and all that stuff. That's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't buy a ring. Are you kidding me? Jeez. But
see, your financial advisory skills came into play a little bit there, I guess.
Yeah, right. It's setting that foundation. Okay, I'm sorry.
We got some good questions in. So we'll do these rapid fire as you design. Have you ever had any project fail, and what did you learn from it?
60% of them fail.
Really?
All right. What I mean by fails, it doesn't meet the full expectation. You get paid for it. The client maybe likes it. Every client should like what you do, but there are other plans, and plans change. And I would say that 60% is a little high. Maybe about 40. Maybe it's more of a 40%. Where they would fail. Okay. Where they don't see the light of day, and you're really proud of it, and they end up in your graveyard portfolio, which is like, man. And I think it's more so the nature of how I do things is because I make things on Instagram, and a big value is to get people excited on Instagram about it. And once they get that value already, it's like, are they really gonna spend the money to put this on 50 million t-shirts or
gotcha.
Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but
well, I think your threshold for success or not is so unique too. I think in a lot of ways, right? Like a lot is riding on it in a way.
Yes. Yeah. Did I answer what was the question again? Did I answer it?
Well, basically, if something does fail, but more importantly, what do you learn from it? What do you take from it?
It's different per project, right? One of them is it teaches you how to communicate better. For one thing, that's the main thing with your client is if a project doesn't go all the way, maybe there's something in the brief or something in the planning of the project that you could have brought up that could have led you a different path. So that's one thing. Is mainly communication is learning on the communication side. Technical side, it's, I say, I take that. You know what? You learn a ton on the technical side too, because it's like a lot of times you can kind of problem solve a new style or a new look on someone else's dime. Yeah. And
it's true.
So you learn a lot of stuff that way. You learn some new techniques. Like, I can have a client that says like, hey, I don't like this paper style, but I know you can pull this off. And there you go. There's another new skill that I learned. That's probably how I got some of the other styles that you see me do. Nice. But mainly the learning thing next time is how to make time more efficient the next time around, and also how to communicate better. Those are the biggest things. Actually, communication itself is probably the biggest thing.
I like that your two biggest lessons are not so much on the creative side. It's more of the operations side, right? My time management, the communication. Like, I think that's a great thing to admit when you know you can improve on.
Yes, and honestly, well, at least for me, the creative side, I learn more on self growth. Like I have to make that's why I love doing Instagram or a social platform like that, because I love doing the exploration on my own with, sometimes you don't want a client to tell you and give you the parameters. Sometimes you want to go off the wall and do your thing. And those are the times where you get a lot of the creativity out. And then like you remember these crazy ideas that you have and you're like, oh, a client can actually use this this time around.
Yeah.
So
good connection, right?
I would say always allot time for your personal growth and passion projects, because that's really what's gonna drive you and getting better in your techniques for the most part.
Speaking of that, any dream client that you would love to work with that you haven't yet? Or can you say?
I think I think I worked with well, my biggest dream was NASA.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, all my dream clients are already on your roster. So
hey, no.
Well,
I
mean, my biggest would be on yours for sure, like 100%.
What's a dream client?
But isn't it neat that it doesn't have to be the one that everybody knows? It could be something totally in just your wheelhouse or this area of what you're passionate about, and it doesn't have to. It should mean more to you than anybody else, right?
I want to work with, yes. I want to work with a pro leather person.
Really?
Yeah, I want to make some really cool leather stuff.
Oh, like goods and things like that?
Faux leather, faux leather, or something that looks like that. Like I've been, we recently bought a house here. So every time I buy furniture, I'm like, oh, that would look really cool. I made this joke. Adobe sent me this really cool Illustrator pillow, which I'm sure some of you seen. I'm like, hey, can you guys send me this in camel, like leather textured Adobe Illustrator pillow? It'll look really cool on my couch.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying. It would fit the aesthetic of what you're trying to do, but you're thinking of designs that would work in that zone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Things with texture now. Now that I work with a lot of digital texture, I'd love to work with like real texture.
Real texture. That's a great way to think about it.
Video games. I'd like to make a really cool video game one of these days. And the cool thing is, like, I get that making video games sometimes doesn't make a ton of money, but it kind of burns money sometimes. But if it's for fun, there you go. That's passion true. Project.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did all my smoke layers. I don't know if that took me longer than it should have, but there's the 3 layers of smoke. Actually, no, they should only be two. Because
the 2 in the front should be on the same level.
Yeah, man, Nick.
See, I'm multitasking. I'm asking. I'm watching.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was actually right before. We can go ahead and delete smoke 2, and then I'll turn this into smoke 2. Okay. Cool. So. Okay, just a quick recap. We got the rocket.
There we go.
We got smoke 1. Oh man, smoke 1. I get it. Smoke 1. Smoke 1. Smoke 2. Okay. Booster 1. Booster 2. Great. Actually, these should probably move behind the rocket. You guys see kind of where I'm getting at with how I'm going to structure this in Photoshop?
Yep, and you got your order going. Now it's all into play. It looks good.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make this frame. And that's going to be under the rocket and the booster.
A lot of people are amazed at how you can work so efficiently with half your screen covered in tabs. I think that is the funniest thing, because I'm laughing with you, not at you, because I do the exact same thing. And I bet all of you do the same. Like, I think if you're working on your own, you don't see those things. It's right. Like, you see it when you're watching somebody else work.
I guess I just I'm so used to working on a laptop,
yeah. That
I don't know, you know, when I was trying to make the nicest studio space, like I got this 32-inch monitor behind me. Like I rarely use a 32-inch monitor.
Oh wow, really?
Like I don't know what it is. It's, I think just getting used to this.
It's what you're used to, I think.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's all it is.
I can't tackle anything real on the laptop anymore. Like I just think there's something about the mentality of knowing what you got to work on and having the bigger screen. To me, I think it's just, you know, and then trying to keep, like, I think workspace is a great thing to learn a little bit. Like I know on I can't remember who did it, but it was on the Creative Cloud Adobe site on YouTube that someone showed a great way of how to put your workspaces together and make a custom workspace for you in Illustrator. And I love that because then when my board starts looking like yours and all my windows are open, you could just go back and reset it really quick, you know, and kind of, it's a great way to have something in your preference, what you like when it comes to all those control panels.
Agreed. And you know what? I just ran into a problem. I couldn't find a stroke panel. Well, there you go. You
Boom.
win, chat. You win.
Chat won. So currently it's Mike's got one, I have two, Ruth has one, and now chat has one.
Like I said, you're gonna find a ton of stuff that I do that's just not efficient, but it's just, you know, it's just,
that's okay.
I just got used to doing it for forever. Okay. So if I take the stroke that I made a giant stroke. That's my frame. If I go to object, path, outline, stroke, it turns it into a shape. You know, and then I can take the fill out of there. So
it's so rather than just being a stroke assigned a certain weight, you've now created an actual, call it a vector frame.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You know, instead of making a square and then making another square and then punching out that square.
Yeah, just give it a stroke and expand it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now that I have my frame out, I can actually adjust some of this stuff.
Nice.
I can, I have it locked. That's right. So.
Have you saved this yet?
Oh my gosh.
I always love asking that on live.
Oh.
Please save.
Should we make it a game and see if we shouldn't save it and see what?
Yeah.
No, okay. No,
All we need is one of those random blackouts in your area to happen again, and lose this.
Random blackouts. One of those happened today. So heads up if a blackout happens because we have a rainstorm right now. It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Okay.
We're working on the edge, dude.
All right, so I'm adjusting this. See, like I'm having the circle touch the edges there. I just like that look. I adjusted it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks great, dude.
Okay. So we still got other stuff to do.
Gotcha. So we got about 45 minutes left in actual work time. How are you feeling with a few more things and then going? What do you?
I'm
you
feeling
tell us.
I got to move a bit faster, just so I can at least show you some of the stuff in Photoshop. Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the complete thing too. Like whatever you feel will take the time up the best.
Yes. And I know I love talking. You know, so I know that could get it. I know that could get annoying.
I should say us.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I will try to move as fast as I can. Okay.
You're good.
I'm making these shines. It's really quick. I'm just making little points here, and I'm making sure they're going beneath.
Yes.
They're going beneath the frame there. And you know what? If I guess if I had a little more time, I would try to make the perfect X pattern with these rays, but nope. We're gonna eyeball it, which is.
I think everyone knows that. Yep. For now, these just. I think your sketch looks good, so I just follow those. There you go.
Hey, you know what? Why am I doing that when I can get a polygon tool? Arrow down, triangle.
Nice.
You're like,
see,
what?
All the little shortcuts. I love it. Perfect.
I love building shapes, man.
There you go.
I love building shapes. This one doesn't have to be so symmetrical, so we could just do that. Cool. This could.
I love when you're in turbo mode. You could just tell he's always just like, now it's like, let's just go.
let's just do this. See, oh man, see now I want to adjust these, but you get it though. I'm gonna try to make
everyone knows. We know. We see it. We're
okay. Good. Okay.
Looking good. And then What are you gonna do? Maybe the two, like those little clouds and then the little star?
Yup.
Perfect.
Yep, and then we'll start coloring it, and then we'll move it over to Photoshop.
Nice.
Okay.
I will be going back. I did see a lot of good questions there. I'll wait till we're at least we get moving into towards the end there. Maybe we can do a little rapid fire on some of the questions. But I felt like I want to make sure we were in good timing with the actual work itself. So it's looking really good, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks.
Efficiency, baby.
Oh man, you know what? Yeah. Cool. More personal questions. Let's go. Well, I like
another good one that came through was just, knowing how to price right. What's any overarching or kind of like headline tips on how you make sure you're getting your costing right when it comes to jobs?
The main thing to look at is time, how long it takes you to do something. I'll be honest, I'm not the best with pricing. It took me a while to figure that out. And I think most people do it by trial and error.
100%.
Right? It's like, hey, let's make a logo for $500, and you're like, oh man, that $500 didn't really get me that far.
Mm-hmm.
All that work that it took me to do. So I think if you tell a client that, hey, I'm just making a logo and I'm making it look cool, sure, $500, cool. But if you tell them that you're doing all the research behind it, what's best for their brand, and then you're and you could itemize these things on a invoice, and that's the main thing. You just gotta itemize especially for your taxes, right?
It works on both of those kind of situations, right? With your client, you can't ask for more unless you show how much value you're giving them. So you're right. I think you nailed it by saying itemize as much as you can on that proposal.
Itemize everything, and that's the only way you'll know how much work something takes you to do.
And it's good for all of us because, like, I think it also shows like we aren't just making pretty pictures and saying take it for $500, right? We're actually doing some strategy and we're putting in a lot of it. It takes a lot to get to a very successstual design. So tell them you got to convince them of that,
Right. Yeah. Yep. And it's like, why do you go to they say something, can we cut out the research? And so why would you want to cut that research out? Like, why would you not want me to
then I'm not, then that's when you go like, maybe we're not the right fit.
Yeah. And you also get that everyone starts somewhere, and then sometimes, you do start off as a yes person and you want to say yes to as much stuff as you can at the beginning. Sure. I understand that too, but it gets to a point where you're like, I had enough of this and I need to get
exactly.
I got the experience. I need to get paid. So
yeah,
I would say, the experience, do what you can to get that experience. Doing stuff on Instagram is basically free work for yourself, or it's not free work because you're gaining
time.
So much. You're spending a lot of time, but that's your growth there. And then people can see, what am I trying to say? People can see your evolution over time. And like, if you get people psyched on Instagram, that's one easy way to show value to a client. It's like, oh, people are so psyched on how you make things. Like I don't even need to, look at your portfolio because I could see that people like your stuff. And then it's like that's half of the client onboarding right there, is if you can get some kind of social following for your work. And I get it. Social media is annoying. I get it, but I'm annoyed by it too a lot.
It's the necessary evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, right here, I just made 4 triangles, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even I haven't even thought about my layers. This is still in the cloud layer. Let's move this into, I'm just trying to get.
But if you're on a roll, you're on a roll, Like, I think sometimes that's a good way to work too. It's just get the work done, and then you can always go back and do the assigning on the layers.
Yes. I love it.
All right, here's a great one. Have you ever designed a tattoo?
No. Oh, I designed something on Instagram and someone turned it to a tattoo.
Then that counts? Mike,
really?
You got another point.
But then, okay, I'm gonna be honest. When I saw the tattoo, I'm like, that looks.
It
does not look good as a tattoo.
Was it that it just didn't look good as a tattoo, or was it or not a good interpretation?
I mean,
like not a good copy.
Shape by shape, it was the same thing.
It just didn't. It doesn't work as a tattoo.
With all the detail, it just looked like a giant blob on this person's body.
I got you.
And it's like that's why it's like if I knew it was for a tattoo, I would have designed it to be maybe
a little more simplistic.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But No, I have not designed something specifically for a tattoo, but
Gotcha.
Is that a passion project of mine? I don't know.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Hey, but a good challenge to see, you know, if you saw that maybe it needs simplicity or it need to be edited to work, that'd be an interesting task to see if you could take some of your work and translate it into that, you know?
Right. Okay. Is that the next thing I do for Instagram?
That's the next challenge. That's the next challenge. Yeah.
Okay. It's got to be something organic, probably.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. I'm used to making all this industrial looking things. All right. So
look at that. I think you've got your illustration done. Ah, that looks beautiful.
Okay. Now it's kind of the more boring part, or is we, we gotta organize everything.
That's okay.
You know what I mean?
We got to do it. So what's your tactic here? What are you brought in the blue square.
That's the background.
Good. Okay.
And I should call this background.
There we go.
I did add another background. I want to have another background here. Background. Shoot. This is background 2.
There you go.
Okay. I wanted the sky to split from the sky to space.
Ah.
So this will be black, but then I won't be able to see. Oh, I will be able to see my. Okay.
Good. Okay. Just enough contrast.
Okay. You'll see what I'm doing later. Okay. Now let's color this thing.
Go for it.
So we got the frame. Boom. If you have your colors out here, just eyedrop everything. You know, we got some stars right there.
So right now you're just assigning colors. You're going right to your color palette.
Yup.
Okay.
Right. Just eyedropping. Cool. Oh, these clouds are probably white. They might not be.
They could be gray.
Did I lock the cloud layer? Yep, I did. They could be gray. They could be yellow.
That's true.
Because of the reflection from the sun.
Yep. You ever find it, like, do you give yourself a total color palette and like you have on the top and you stick to it? Was there some reason it's that, or can it go? No,
I never do that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked.
I just. Oh, thanks, dude. Just another point for you, Nick. It's I just knew the colors because, like I said, we made that thing in Aero, the awesome illustration in Aero, and I wanted to make this as representative of that as much as I can, but in a simple form.
Great.
But no, the color is one of the hardest things to really be happy with.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time with color, a lot of time. So you know what? I decided I'm just going to unite the whole rocket together.
There you go.
So I will make this that red color. That way the rocket is just one shape and we don't have to
Great.
Worry about that too much. Pathfinder, unite that.
Do you go to any specific inspiration when you're picking color palettes for a project? Is it reference? Is it old data? Like, is it just something random? Where do you go?
Adobe.color.
There you go.
Is it color.adobe? Adobe.color.
Yeah, yeah. And then do you go on Explore and like put in some keywords?
Yes, sometimes I just search space.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like so you put in like, let's say it's space, aquarium, or whatever it might be, like whatever the thing you're doing is, robots. Like sometimes you just find a great color palette all ready to go.
Yeah.
Yup.
I'm okay. Sorry, everybody. I'm thinking about my color
here. Keep going.
I kind of okay. Sometimes they'll look pretty blended in, but when you add the texture and stuff.
So right now you're not even worried about that, knowing that the sun and the rocket are the same color. That's going to be not a problem because of shading, right?
Yes, because you will see the separation with all the shadows, like you were saying. Yup. Dang.
Yeah, it used to be Adobe Color, Kuler, and then it is changed to Adobe Color now.
Okay.
That's correct.
So this is our very simplified version of what we just made. I could think of like, maybe should I make the rocket white? I don't know.
What if it's a signal? It's a new color and it's the only thing in that color. You know what I mean? So it really stands out.
What color? What color you want me to make it?
Make it a. I mean, you're not using a green. You're not using a purple. But I know you want it to be in that. You want it to be in that.
Purple.
In the same hue. You know, but it's got to be. It's got to be in like. It's got to match your other colors, right? Like,
Right.
ooh, yeah.
Something
That's
like a
kind
greenish.
That's kind of neat. What do you guys think? What are we missing here, chat?
Well,
Name that rocket color. Yellow
yeah,
looks good
this,
too.
this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I could spend so
Mhm.
much time with color that, like, I can think I have a plan, and then, like, okay, that didn't work out too well. You know what? That kind of reminds me of the Planet Express logo, in a way.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Uh,
Somewhere like a little bit.
no.
There you go.
Oh,
You
wait,
have it.
did you want it? Did you want it? That okay.
A little dull, like that duller, like yeah, like moving it down a bit there. That might work. So
how's
we
that?
got green, gray are the first few coming through. Orange, RGB green, gray.
Yeah. Okay. I
That really,
like.
it stands out as the green right now. I'm telling you.
Hey, what happened to my
Uh-oh.
my booster? Remember my booster?
Oh, it's in there. It's there. It is, but it's not. Is it too far behind? Where is it?
Where'd it go? Did I delete it, guys?
Can't be. Do a Command Y. There
No,
it
it's
is.
there. It's definitely there.
Command Y. It's like lost and found.
Yeah. Why did it? It just went behind the smoke, I guess.
Maybe. There you go. What else we got? Ooh, rockets like a silver. Maybe like ooh, that would be like a brushed aluminum would look kind of cool.
Okay, brushed glue. It's gonna be a paper thing though. But
yes, I know.
Yeah.
I love it. You're like Longo. It's supposed to be paper, not metal.
No, well, I mean, like, you know what? You want to go with the green?
I'm good with it, but yeah, I think green got the most. Looks like the most in there. Orange and green behind smoke.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I'm good with it.
You good with it?
Yeah. Ruth's
Okay.
saying just a tad more bluish on that green, but
Okay, I like that. I like that, Ruth. This goes on top of booster.
yeah, already. I mean, just this is art right now. I'm digging where this is going.
Oh yeah, man.
Mhm.
Thanks, dude. Yeah.
Looks good.
Sorry, now I'm like, okay, my shine is supposed to go above that. And my frame is supposed to go above that.
The colors are
Okay.
still coming in. I love it. Lavender.
Okay. Lavender?
But gray is getting a lot of votes there. As long as I think the cool thing about it is that it's different. You're not using that color anywhere else. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we lose Michael's image? Is that can someone confirm on that? I just saw someone saying, "Where's Michael?"
My image?
Yeah, I'm just making sure you're still on screen. Hey, we're back. It's round 2. Not really. It is part 2 of day 1. We had a little technical difficulties there, guys. Sorry about that. Michael, you're still with us. We didn't lose you.
Nice. How much time we got left?
All right, we've got about 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 35, 40 minutes.
All
What do we
right,
got?
okay, cool. Let's keep some questions going, everybody.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Welcome back. For those of you joining us or didn't catch our last update, we are here with Michael, and we're putting together a Illustrator illustration first. And we are at this point where we are getting it all ready to go and move all the way into Photoshop with layers. applied from Illustrator. And then the goal is tomorrow we're going to show you in Adobe Aero some really cool three-dimensional AR effects that we could do. And the neat thing about this is how we're bridging all three apps to kind of come up with something totally new and unique, right?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
Especially Aero, because Aero is going to be freaking crazy.
And it just takes a lot to get there. Like you know, it's like the whole idea of this is Aero does some of the big power work when it comes to doing it in AR, but you still got to bring in rich, colorful, great graphics that we're doing right now.
Yes. It's got to be strategized for Aero. So, okay, let's talk about that really quick.
Go for it.
So the rocket,
what are you
right?
Prepping?
The rocket is, I really wanted the rocket to be red, but it's okay. We might change that later.
Yeah.
The rocket is the star of this piece, right? So if you think about it in AR forms or in 3D form, you want that thing to be popping out at you the most.
Yes.
So the rocket is at the topmost. We're organizing that at the very top, right? Because the hierarchy goes towards the rocket. And then it goes to the frame. And we made this frame, this right here. If I take the frame out, you can see all the imperfections of all the other shapes. And that's why the frame is there. So it hides all that stuff. It won't hide it 100% when you tilt it around in a 3D space. But there's workarounds around that. Like you can make that frame into a 3D thing to hide all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the whole idea about the frame is to hide your imperfections unless you want the imperfections.
Gotcha.
Cool.
They're still voting on colors. I love it.
All right. Okay. I guess. Okay. What's the one that came up the most?
We've got either British racing green, which I think would be like more of a darker green with that. We've got what else? I just saw a few other ones there as well. But I think you're right. I think the green might be. It's definitely different, but is it standing out the way I think you want it? You know what I mean?
I'd say that's a downfall of this style. It's really hard to tell at this stage until you put the paper texture stuff on.
Or what if you do this? Like what if you do put it back to the red that you like, but then you change the red of the larger sun to a much more orange, like a lighter orange. You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So your red stands out a little bit, and that's all you need. So go back to your red.
I do like red rockets. You know what I mean?
Red rockets.
So what I had it before.
There you go. And now just make that a more orangey yellow.
I like this, but the thing is, if we add an orangey yellow, that means we need to add this color on another shape, which there's plenty of other shapes to do that too.
Cool. Yes.
Orangey yellow.
Orangey yellow. There you go.
That looks.
So now let's see. There you go. That's probably a nice one. That'll be enough contrast with your yellow. How's that?
Dude, Nick, Nick.
Can I be your art?
Allows me.
I've art directed one of your pieces. This is amazing.
Yes. This allows me to make the booster like that.
Yes.
Gosh, where did my cloud go? Why am I losing all my stuff?
Command Y. There.
Okay, no, it is gone.
Oh, you're smaller. You had a smaller cloud to the right of that.
Where'd it go?
I'd make a quick little duplicate.
I'm just like, what? You know what? I guess we could go in the replay later and then figure out what happened.
There you go.
But that's
it's all been captured.
Solve that mystery.
Yeah, it's funny because I think they were all saying that that outer layer of the fire could be the orange too, and you had already done that. So you guys are all thinking alike. This is great.
Yes. Wow. But the thing is, you do want to stick. It is a skill to work with as little colors as you can. True. And it is like, I would say, get used to that as early as you can, because there's so much benefits to that, especially if you're making merchandise.
Yeah. Limited color.
Yes.
Makes production runs a lot easier.
It makes design look way more intentional too. Like, and it fits all brands. And
I think we're always afraid to be so limited. Like we're like, oh, it's repetitive and it's like, it's only 3, but I think there's some value in that, particularly like you keeping this to such a limited color palette. It works, you know?
Those were my favorite classes in design school.
Yeah.
Which is like, hey, make this all in black and white, and you can use one color. other than that.
Yeah, like that one you showed that you did where it was like the negative and positive, that one black and white image you had.
Yeah.
Very similar. Like how you, that's all you needed.
Yes. Oh, you know what? Now I want to make this orange, you guys.
Look at that. I love it.
All right. I think we're good. Can we move on?
Let's go.
Okay.
Make your moves.
I will save that.
Whew.
Okay. File, export,
Guys,
export as.
We're moving to Photoshop. Check this out.
This is a huge part, okay?
Now, yeah, show each step here so we're making sure we get this right.
Okay, so I export it to PSD, Photoshop PSD.
There we go.
Okay. And I'm going to call this Photoshop Rocket. Okay? Cool. I'm going to hit export.
Oh, wait. Anything else? You didn't have artboards checked, right? Is there any other options you got to do here in doing that? You just want to make sure your layers are active, right?
Yes.
Here.
And I kind of preset the size of the artboard to 4x5, which is the optimal Instagram size to post something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we could talk about that a little bit too. So
I just want to make sure, because I know when you're doing this, because this is quite new to me. I want to make sure we know like what's checked and what's not, because it looks like you have right layers on, right?
Yeah.
Let's
go back.
Yeah, try that. And yes, I want to mention too, Val said something funny. She goes, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to totally make a layered paper poster after being so inspired by this. So I'm totally down. That's like some of my favorite stuff to do.
Yes. That's like that makes me feel so good inside.
There you go.
You know, Val, do we need to grab a drink or something? You know.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So you're right. I should have checked this a bit. We don't need a sketch layer anymore.
Okay.
Delete the sketch layer.
There you go. Good idea.
Background 1, stars. Some of this might be out of place, but we can fix that later if need be. Great. Okay. As long as the frame is up to rocket. Yep, that looks fairly good there. Cool. So I'll go to File, Export as PSD.
Nice. There we go.
We'll call this Photoshop Rocket. Export. Okay, you got to make sure it's RGB. Okay. And especially if you're working in Photoshop, you get a wider gamut of color in RGB, especially if you're working digitally. You can always switch to CMYK later once you're done with your illustration.
That's a good point, because it's technically going to be screen mostly, right? Digital. Yeah. Okay.
If you want to adjust the contrast to how you like it at first, definitely work in RGB first. It's harder to do it the other way around. It's just, I don't know why. I don't know the science behind it, but it
makes sense.
That's how I was trained, and I believe that's the right way to do it.
300 DPI or 300 PPI.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do not make sure right layers is clicked. If you click flat images, like, why even do this? Okay.
Yeah. It defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. All right. So right layers are on.
Yep.
Great.
Hit OK.
There it goes.
Boom. Can we get out of there? Can we get out of Illustrator? Hey, that's me. And I shaved my mustache. Okay. Okay.
Got the hat games on though. There you go. I love it. All right. So you are opening this up now in Photoshop.
Yeah. Wait, where did I save it at? Oh, Photoshop Rocket.
Where did I save it? This is the pro channel. This is the pro channel here, folks.
I am so why am I okay? What's wrong with me today? Okay. Open.
Okay. So now nothing else you have to do. You just got to open it in there. No, everything else is ready to go. There you go.
There it is. Check that out. My layers. Now, one thing that someone called out previously is like, okay, but they don't come in as vector smart objects. It's very true. They do not. So you got to do this as high resolution as you can.
What are the dimensions of this, by the way?
Well, I kept it a little bit small just so this thing would run smoother.
Yeah.
But I usually go higher than this. I'm usually at 4x5 at around like 800 PPI.
Oh, perfect. Just
So
in
it's like,
case you have to mess with the scale down the road.
yeah, or if
Okay.
you wanted to make it a poster size or something like that. But since it's, you know, going to be 100% digital, like
Yeah.
this size is perfectly fine, and we won't run into any performance issues.
Great.
Okay, cool. So this is my favorite part.
Now you're like in the playground here. Now you get to like mess around with all the different things here.
You know, Illustrator was a different playground. You know, this is a. All right. One thing I want to talk about here are these textures. All right, I use a JPEG texture. I have this. This is the craft paper texture.
And all grayscale, I'm assuming?
All grayscale. So you can take any image and grayscale it, and it's your texture. You can use your face as a texture.
Yes.
If you want.
Okay.
You know?
Not that we are going to, but
no. But I would say when you pick a texture like this, you want to pick one that's not too much grain or noise. You want it the perfect
subtle.
Yeah, the perfect amount. I would say not too subtle too. So a good mix between exaggerated and not too much where things look dirty.
And
you know?
You're not worried about uniform or edges, or it's obviously it's random, so it's not like a seamless tile. This is all you need.
This is it.
Great. All right.
And this right here is the perfect amount of grain for me. And we'll you know, but I have other different ones. This is the one I use for the Aero project, the marble, because it looks very space.
It does, and it's familiar in a way.
Marble.
Feels very planetary, right? Like on a planet. Yes, I love it.
It's like the top of Jupiter or something.
Are you scanning these yourself? Are you finding them, or?
So this is why a lot of people ask me if I can give these to them. I can't because I purchased them and I purchased the rights to use them. Perfect. So I can tell you where to get them.
Yeah.
But I can't hand these to you, unfortunately. Maybe I should make my own textures. You know?
I'm always a fan of too, like if you're questioning that, just take your phone and use like I use Capture, Adobe Capture all the time on the phone. You can capture any texture in the world and it's yours, you know? Do it.
This is the best wood texture on the planet. It's called wood block. Look how exaggerated the wood grains are. If you took a picture of wood, it would not look nearly as good as this on, because it's like a wood stamp.
You're right.
And if you need to know where to get that, it's called wood block. I don't own this. I'm not making any money off of that. I'm just telling you, it's the best in the planet. Okay.
and he knows the planet. So
wood block by Ian Bernard, I believe. It's such an awesome texture, and you can see it in some of my other works too. So which one should we do? Which one should we do?
Let's go with I'm gonna go with craft texture. Let's do that one for now.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yes. Yes.
Are you using multiple on this, or you can use just one?
You could use multiple.
Okay.
I use one though, just because it, you know.
Perfect.
It looks better. All right. Okay. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna drag that texture in there. I'm gonna size this up to cover the entire screen.
Okay. Perfect.
That way I know this is the size that the texture should be.
Okay.
Push enter, and there's my texture. Okay.
Great. And that's just on its own layer right now. Perfect. Keep going.
Yeah, because I wanted to bring that in there. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to turn this off.
Okay.
Just because I'm going to need to grab that later. Okay.
All right.
Let's work on the rocket first. So this is the rocket, right?
That's a rocket.
If I hold command and click on the rocket, I get this little ant trail that goes around there, like little ants. What is this, selected. A painting for ants?
I remember my one teacher calling those marching ants all the time. I'm like, I can never not hear that again.
Right. It's like, hey, that looks, it kind of freaks me out sometimes. It's especially like, if you ever had a ton of ants in your house, it's like, oh man. Okay. Yep. All right. So, once I turn that layer on, I can hit this icon here that looks like a Japanese flag.
Yes.
It's a mask layer, so I can click that, and boom, it covers the rocket. See that?
Perfect. All right.
There's the texture there.
Perfect.
And if I hit multiply,
oh, guess what happens?
There you go. Now, what multiply does is it takes the black and white levels and it evenly spreads it on top of color.
It's like a
Um,
transparent layer of the red over what you had, right?
yeah, if you see people restore old like 50s photos,
Yeah,
they use color and they use multiply to color over old black and white photos. That's exactly why we make our texture black and white.
perfect.
Okay, cool. So now I got that. And then I'm gonna command click this ant trail again, the layer for the ant trail on the rocket. I'm gonna create a layer above the rocket. I'm gonna call this highlights. Okay.
Okay.
And here I'm gonna get, you gotta do this part, okay? This is the part where a lot of people skip, and it's like,
Yes.
no,
Pay
please do
attention.
this. This is the one that gives all the character. So I'm gonna have a 0% hardness brush. Okay. Hey, I wanted 0%. Okay.
There we go.
If I make my brush big, see if I, okay, it's black right now.
Yes.
See, that's what happens when I paint in that section. I'm gonna change this to white. Okay. If I just have a brush around this big and I paint off the edges, you see how it lights up the edge like that?
Yes.
And that's what we want. We want to light the edge of this rocket. And I'll tell you why in a second. I'm picking a light source.
Okay.
I should, you know what? I should have done that first, but let's just finish this rocket just because
Keep going. Yeah.
we're okay. My light source is coming from the top left-hand corner. I'm imagining there's a light shining on this piece of paper artwork. That will tell me where to place these highlights. I'm placing the highlights on the top left-hand corner because the light's coming in that direction. That's a very important thing too. And I get that's a bunch of words that, you know, could sound boring, but it's important. It's important. Okay. And then I'm going to create another layer. I'm going to call this shadow. That's also on top of the rocket layer. And I'm going to turn this into black. I wonder if I'm going to lose my voice tomorrow.
Oh, you can't talk for the rest of the day. You know that. That comes in the contract.
What? Okay.
You got to read the Adobe contract.
Understood. Okay. No more talking for the rest
No
of the
more
day.
talking. There you go.
I'll hit multiply there. So every time you paint black or a pure black color, you want to hit multiply, especially if you're using a fade gradient type thing.
Yes.
Because the multiply, like I said, will evenly spread the black color on top of whatever color it's on.
Okay.
And it might not, like, you might not be able to see it at first, but I promise you, when you're done with the entire project, it makes a massive, massive difference. So, so hit multiply there. You can adjust the opacity. If you make your shadows too dark, you can adjust them lighter like that using opacity.
And that's such a great way to fine tune it. Rather than go back and try it again, you already got that in there. Just mess with the layer and the opacity, right? Cool.
Yes. And then also, okay, cool. Like the highlight, yeah, you're right, Nick. You can adjust the highlight using opacity too.
Great.
But I liked it at 100%, so I'm gonna leave it. Okay. You know, we could do the shadow now, but no, we're gonna do some of the other stuff first. If I command click the rocket again, this is a trick that a really easy trick to add so much character to this thing. I'm gonna call this rim light.
So you did that was just a new layer.
Yes.
Underneath it.
Yes.
Okay. Keep going.
And then I'm gonna color that white. Push Option Delete. Okay. So there's a white shape below my red rocket layer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I'm gonna zoom in really close so you can see what I'm doing. If I click my move tool here, push the arrow key twice to the left.
Oh, we're getting a little highlight.
Twice to the right. Oh, you know what? That's too much because we're in a lower resolution. Once to the left, once up top. Boom. Now you get this cool like little paper edge right there.
Amazing.
That little thing adds so much character to your stuff. You can't see it even in the windows. You can see it. It has it in the windows too.
Totally uniform, just as if it was real and cut out and showing light. It's perfect.
Yes. Awesome.
Love it.
Okay. I'm gonna combine.
So
all
do
that
that.
stuff.
Do that again with one other, like maybe the orange part of the flame. Do that one more time so everyone can
We're doing
see.
the whole process with the flame again.
Perfect.
because we need to finish the whole rocket.
Yeah, you've got
portion.
about 15 minutes or so. Okay, buddy?
That's cool. We can get through the whole process that we need to get through, you know, for at least a few shapes. And then I'll finish this off, and then we'll dive into some heavy Aero stuff tomorrow. Oh, okay. That's right. My layers panel, I had my craft texture. If I duplicate that, put that above booster 1.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna, so I have it. It's at the same size as my other texture. That's important to keep the size uniform. I'm just gonna offset it a bit. As long as the booster is covered, it'll feel like it's a whole new piece of paper if you offset it a bit. So if I command click there and I click on that, boom. If I zoom in, cool. I hit multiply. Awesome. I'm gonna do the same thing. Create a highlight. Whoa, hello. Okay. Create a layer above that. I'll call that highlight. Are there any questions coming in too?
I'm looking. Nothing yet. I think they're all just looking and watching.
Okay.
So any questions, just drop them in, guys.
Okay.
And what's neat too is because it's all coming from the same paper source and that layer you have, the pattern is going to be uniform throughout everything.
Yes.
Cool.
It's the same exact image. And that said, though, when you duplicate the image that many times, it does make your file very
bigger. Yes.
very large.
But the positioning of it is all coming from the same paper, basically.
I work with an animator in this style, and he's like, "Dang it, Michael!" Yeah, it's not easy to animate, but you know you can animate it.
That's great.
All right, rim light. Option delete. Zoom in here. What do we got? 10 minutes now?
No, we got about a little under 15. Yeah, so somewhere around there.
Awesome.
Keep going.
Okay. Here's something that I haven't showed you yet. If I click on the booster, I'm going to create a layer under the rim light. I'm going to call this shadow.
I know what you're doing.
Yes. Yes, because how many times have you seen me do this, Nick?
No, I've never. This is finally getting to see the magic at work. I love it.
I have to explain here. Oh, thanks, dude. You know I love you so much, Nick. Okay.
Looks good, dude.
You know, sometimes you got to stop me before these conversations get weird. Okay. Blur. Gauze. Okay. Right. Sorry. Rewind. So the shadow, I turned it into a smart filter.
Okay.
And that's what this icon is here. Why you do smart filter? It's because it's non-destructive editing. If you add a filter to it, it's not permanent. You can always go back. That's why you turn that into smart filter. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Whoa, that's a little too much. So I'm gonna decrease that to right there. And one thing that I don't know if it'll make sense now, but it will when I make the next shadow of this whole rocket piece. But yes. I made this very not too blurry and kind of harder edged close because it's almost like it's glued onto that piece below it.
Gotcha.
So the shadow isn't extended too much, and you'll see what I mean in a second.
And you're taking this into consideration because it's such a delicate like highlight, but it has to do something, right? It's just enough, but not over the top.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and I have the opacity at 42. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. It really depends on how your eye sees it. If you want it darker than that, you could have it darker.
Yeah.
So let's call that booster 1. I just want to make sure we get to the main shadow of the whole rocket. That's probably the last thing we're going to do because it's a really important thing to do. Okay. I'm going to do the same process again. Like I said, I wasn't lying when I said this is a little tedious, right?
Yeah, but still, like chat was just mentioning too, the tools you're using are so simple, but the art you're making is like very massive. The greatest things come from simplest things.
That is what I do. I make it simple, but not look simple. It's exactly what I do with Aero. I have a really simple thing with Aero that makes it really easy to do. That's why you got to tune in tomorrow because it's super easy to do and it just adds so much character.
That's great, dude. Love that.
Highlight. Okay. I'm painting in highlights, and I'm clicking on weird things.
So even here, you're like you like using the large size brush to like just do these really big bursts of like the color hit and the highlight hit.
Yeah, and if you paint off the edges, you get that nice like fall off, you know, the nice gradual. If you use you could use a gradient tool, but sometimes it's just a little, it's harder to control sometimes. Like a brush. Yeah. I mean, there are definitely times I use a gradient tool. Whoops, I forgot to ant trail. Ant trail there for the shadow.
Perfect.
See how like just adding these highlights, it just adds so much depth, that like very subtle depth that you know.
Yeah, because I think too, if you went in with a much smaller brush, you could be making a quick mistake because it's too visible. But you're doing this, you're using the very outer edge of a large brush, and all it's doing is like just like a little spray of that. You know, it's cool.
Heck yeah, Nick.
See, as I'm not I wouldn't call myself a Photoshop pro in any way. I'm more 100% Illustrator. So I love seeing these little tips that kind of show how it works there in Photoshop for sure.
How many points have you racked up so far?
I'm at 3. You're at 2. Ruth is at 1, and Chad is at 1. We're keeping score of
oh my gosh,
major points. Hey, Elizabeth, good to see you here.
So what I did here, all that stuff I did with the booster.
Yeah.
Booster 1 and booster 2, I consolidated it into one layer. So now that's in one layer right there.
Nice. There you go.
It's under the rocket. I see that it's peeking out of there. I don't want it to peek out of there. I want it to be inside. Okay, there you go.
There you go. So a nice little move.
I could add a shadow there, but before I do that, I want to show you something more important.
Let's see it. Go for it.
Which is the shadow of this. No, we got to do one more. We got to do one more. Shoot. Okay. How much time we got?
You got about 10 minutes.
Oh, bro, man.
Nice. 9 minutes.
Excellent. Okay.
So what's the last test? What's the last little task we want to do here?
So booster 3. Okay. Well, this is the second to last task because we got to do the same thing.
Yeah, we got time for 2.
Okay. Offset that a little bit, and then cool. The thing, okay, I don't really have to paint much of that because it's already kind of light colored. You know.
Yes.
You know what? I won't paint on top of that just so we can move.
Okay.
You know? And you know, I can refine this later. We'll have this in a more refined state tomorrow. That way, we could just get into some Aero. You know.
Ooh.
So I added a rim light. Boom. Okay,
there
there's
you
booster
go.
3.
That looks cool.
Cool. Booster 3.
And grouping them again is just, you got to do this.
You got to name the layers. You're going to end up with hundreds of layers later. So you've got to...
It's funny how fast they creep up on you too, right?
Okay, so... Nice. All right. This is a tricky part for me to explain because this booster 3 needs to be below this smokestack, but the whole rocket needs to be above everything. So I'm going to command click that shape of booster 3, and then booster, what's the overarching shape there? Booster 2. I'm going to command shift click booster 2. As you can see, what I'm doing is I'm adding the selection, right? So it's the booster 3 shape and it's adding the booster 2 shape. That's now they're both within the ant trail.
Yes.
And if I go to the rocket, I'm going to add that too. Okay, so now I have all of that selected, right? And here's the last trick, one of the most important tricks to show you. Below booster 3, that's where the whole shadow is going to be. I'm going to create a layer below that. I'm going to call this rocket shadow. And I'm going to hold Option Delete. That filled that with black. So now I have
the whole thing. Beautiful. So the cool thing is, why do it independently when you can take all 3 group and make one uniform image for the drop, right?
You know, I was going to do that, but because my train of thought was just because this was below this layer and then the rocket was above everything else, it kind of just made me select them individually.
Yeah.
But that is a good point. You could just do that too.
That's great. That looks good. So you keep it like that, or are you going to diffuse it or anything?
No, we're definitely now we haven't done the most important part here.
You're like, we just began.
Filter. Convert for smart filters. Okay. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur.
Nice. Oh.
And then we're gonna make this soft, okay? Because this is gonna be above everything.
Yeah.
Um,
This is like so cool to finally see your work in process, dude. It's really neat.
what?
Yeah,
I've never done this before. Oh,
I've never. No, I mean you've done some really cool elementary things. Like when you joined my class and stuff, we were doing some great gradations and things. But to see every little step and then like I'm just backing away, going like, yeah, this is Michael's work coming to life, like right here. This is so cool.
Oh my gosh, Nick.
Dude.
Okay. Well, I just realized we need to create a shadow that hits the frame, but you get that. As long as you get that, okay?
Yeah.
My magic number for these shadows is 35. I changed the opacity to 35, and you're like, whoa, that looks light. This doesn't look like a shadow. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you duplicate this, you have 2. Now you can like drag that below.
I see. You get much more control.
So now you have this shadow stepping effect. And if you shine a flashlight on any object, you get 2 shadows usually that comes out of it.
That's great.
That's how I came up with this stepping effect. If I
so you're duplicating it and they're both at 35, but then you can mess around with positioning and opacity just as needed.
I'm messing with the blur right now.
That's great.
So I'm making that even blurrier than the last one, and I'll keep that at 35.
Yeah.
Look at that. See how you get this crazy like harsh to like.
Oh yeah, dude.
Soft
it's so
blend?
natural.
You can only do that with a double shadow stepping technique like that. If you want to make it more exaggerated, you can get your first shadow that you made.
That's great.
You can right click, edit smart filter. You can make that a little harder, so you can kind of see that. You see that?
Yes.
So you could do it like that too, where it's like you can kind of see the stepping a little bit more. I'll do it at 5.2. That's good. And if it's a little too harsh there, you can turn it down to maybe 30.
Wow.
35 is just my magic number that works with almost every color.
I love it. We're even seeing it a little. We're seeing it through a video stream, and it's still showing up as you talk about the control you have of like really blurring that out. Because I think sometimes too, not just keeping a single drop shadow, you think you have a lot of control over it, but having the 2 mesh, it's like adding a lot more control. That's so cool. That's awesome, dude. That's great.
Does everyone in the chat know how to execute the rest of this now? I just want to make sure.
I think you've kind of covered most. Throw in a question, guys. Does anything else you think we need to kind of tackle, or we can take up on tomorrow? But I do want to mention that too. We will be back tomorrow at about 12 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be here again with Michael for 2 more hours. The second part, this is going to take us totally deep into Adobe Aero, showing all the interactive and animation features. So stay tuned for that. But even after today, we have a XD Creative Challenge with Brandon. And then a draw your own style with Cody Bear. That should be fun. And Anika, I guess, is doing that as well with her. Immediately following this stream. And Adobe Live will be back tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time with Print My Soul. They're going to be doing a whole personalized Valentine's Day card. Creative Cloud Express as well. That's a great one. I don't know if you've been dabbling with Creative Cloud Express on the phone or on the web browser. It's a whole new app that they just came out with. Really cool, fun features there as well.
Oh, nice.
They're going to do a custom card that you can print or send digitally. Look at that. They're thinking of everybody.
Yes.
I love it. We got like 2 minutes, man. So tell us what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Give us the bridge. Got 2 minutes.
Okay, we made an illustration. Obviously, it's not nearly as complex as this, but it's the same exact process, okay? So we basically are, I'll leave it up to the chat. I can continue to do the illustration tomorrow. I can finish more of it, and then we do a little bit of it tomorrow, just to refresh.
Perfect.
But it'll be close to done tomorrow. That way we can jump into some Aero.
Okay.
But what we're gonna do, I gotta show you, this is what we're doing. We're gonna bring it in, and we're gonna turn our illustration into something like that.
Can't wait to see it, man. That's gonna be so cool.
really easy to do. Really easy.
If there's one thing you've proved today is like, I feel like now I would tackle this, whereas before I'm not quite sure I would have done that. But this is great, man. So again, guys, don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific time for part 2 with Michael. Any last words, Mike? We got 20 seconds.
Yeah. So
Follow
tomorrow,
Mike on Behance.
yeah, yes, and then and Instagram, and also this stamp, we're gonna make it animated and stuff. I'm not an animator, but I'll show you what the animator did and the process, all the cool stuff you can do with Aero, not just the pop-up stuff, all the interactive stuff you can do. Boom.
See you tomorrow, guys. We'll be here again. Bye, y'all. Thanks, Mike.
Love you all. Everybody.
See you tomorrow.